tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you. Leslyann Samuel, president of UJAAUSA, is in the house tonight. She'll be discussing Jamaica Independence. Yes, it's that time of the year again. So stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Leslyann Samuel, president of UJAAUSA, and also no stranger to Beyond Focus. You know you're in the family now.
That's right.
You are officially back in the family, and it's great to have you here tonight talking about Jamaica Independence. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we look at you as an expert.
Oh, dear.
of some sorts. Expert of some sorts to come share some insight. Of course, you are Jamaican, even though she's left many years ago, but still very strong ties to Jamaica.
Still, yes.
Which is amazing. So let's go straight into it. Let's talk a little bit about, this is their, what anniversary is this? 54th anniversary. So a long time. So they had their 50th a few years ago. So it's 54th. Mm-hmm. Let's kind of talk about Jamaica pre-independence and what you remember of that before moving here to the U.S.
Well, I migrated to Brooklyn, New York, when I was 13. So my memories of Jamaica are from that perspective. But, you know, it's funny the things that you remember. I remember studying about Jamaica's history because it was part of what we did as children, of course. So small details, you know, we were found, if you will, as if we were lost by the Spaniards in 1494. And then somewhere along the line, I think in the 1600s somewhere, 1660 something if I remember correctly, the English stole away Jamaica from the Spaniards. And so we have, from that period on, we were under English rule, if you will, and then became independent in 1962. And I was 4 years old. And what I remember of that time is really just about the celebration. I remember it being people in the streets, and it was just an extremely joyous time, particularly because you saw our colors everywhere, the black, green, and gold. And so it's very difficult for me to not see those colors and think Jamaica immediately, you know. Mm-hmm. So those are my memories of Jamaica, if you will, pre-independence, if you will. Yeah.
So a very happy time economically living there. Of course, you were still young before you moved, but there were a lot of positives. I think people could say there were good and bad things. Some people are really for independence. There's still like an island like Martinique that's still linked to France. They've never took their independence. They still use, there's no longer francs, but the euro, and they still get French passports. Whereas many of the English Caribbean islands relinquish their ties to England.
No, not Jamaica. We are still very much a part of the Commonwealth and still have strong ties to England, and we get all excited when the Queen or any member of the royal family comes to Jamaica. I don't know about all of that, to be very honest with you, but we still do get very excited about that to some degree. I know that there has been discussion in recent years, I'll say, about seceding, if you will, from the Commonwealth, but that has never really taken flight, and so we are still very much a part of the Commonwealth, and we still have a Governor General who is the representative of the Queen, and so, you know, we continue down that road for now until such time, you know, until it no longer works, I think is what will happen.
And I think 54 years later, it's working.
We've learned to live with it, you know, so it's working, for sure.
So let's go over a little bit of the highlights, major highlights of the last 50 years.
Okay.
When you think about Jamaica, and you could really say the last 50 years is when it exploded on that international scene.
For sure.
Musically, food-wise, culturally, I mean, that was those years that it became
No.
known
Sure.
to the
sure,
world.
Absolutely. I think as a growing country, the first 50 years are very telling. But I think for Jamaica, here are some of the things that strike me, particularly as somebody who has spent the great majority of their lives now outside of Jamaica. I think from a governmental perspective, I think we have done the hills and valleys just as most growing countries, new countries would experience. So, we've changed governments and parties every few years, and that to me is kind of normal. But as you said, what has happened in that short period of time, when you really think about it, it's rare that you will go somewhere and folks not know about Jamaica.
Exactly.
Okay, and so the question is why? Why is it? What is it about this such a small country? 144 square miles. I mean, what is it that folks all know about it? I think it's all about a couple of things. One, folks like Robert Nesta Marley, Bob Marley, and reggae music. I mean, you cannot go anywhere in the world and not find somebody who is playing reggae.
Absolutely.
Okay, I mean, we just all know about it. We have individuals who have their roots in Jamaica, and who it comes out in one form or another that there's that connection there. Certainly in the area of sports. Okay, we have made our mark in many, many ways. Think of Usain Bolt. Of course, everybody knows about Usain, the
That was the
fastest man in the
Olympics.
world. Right. First gold medal in 2008. Just a phenomenal athlete. Okay, but then, if you really look back, you can see that we have a history of phenomenal sprinters that go back into the early 1900s, from back then. So it is not surprising to me that Jamaica has that kind of reputation. And we are known not only for those things, but certainly everybody knows about jerk chicken
Everybody knows
and jerk
chicken.
pork, right? It's become part of what you associate and you think about when you think about Jamaica.
Even a very famous movie from the 90s, Cool Runnings.
Absolutely. We were the first Caribbean island, I think English-speaking Caribbean island to ever enter the Winter Olympics. We were the very first.
That's why they made the movie based off it, 'cause it's a funny thing to think. What the
Exactly.
heck does Jamaica know about a bobsled?
Didn't matter, did it?
Didn't.
That's right. We were there, and I think that to me embodies the Jamaican spirit. There are just no rules, no bounds. We are willing to try anything and be anywhere, and if it's to be done, we're going to try it. Why not?
And that's really, for me, that really showcases the highlights of it, because
Absolutely.
50 years is a long
Absolutely.
time, but it's not a long time
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah, it really
And
isn't.
it's, as the culture and everything was evolving and really being portrayed in the international scene,
Mm-hmm.
people are still living there, and the government's still trying to figure out things at the same
Same
time. So it's all
time.
like learning
Absolutely.
and going at the same
Absolutely.
time, which
Absolutely.
is amazing.
Yes.
Well, hold that thought. We'll take a
Okay.
quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Leslyann Samuel. Leslyann, great topic so far that we're really covering about Jamaica Independence. 54 years, officially on August
6th.
6th?
Yes.
August 6th.
Yes. My brother's birthday. As
Oh,
it
your
turns
parents
out.
must have been so ecstatic.
Well, it was several years before independence, so it was
But
just one of those coincidences.
it's just
of
a
course.
coincidence.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about Jamaican culture,
Sure.
what it embodies.
Yeah, well, Um, I have to tell you that I grew up in a family of dancers. And so, one of the unique things I think about Jamaica, and not something that I've necessarily heard about in the other Caribbean islands, is that when we became independent, Jamaica established an organization called the National Dance Theatre Company. And it's an organization of dancers. And they are volunteers, they are not paid, they all have jobs and lives,
Really?
yes. But are semi-professional, call them dancers. So the level of professionalism and artistry is truly at a very, very high level. But that company was started in 1962. And my two aunts, as it turns out, were founding members. So I grew up always being a part of that part of Jamaican life, the dance, the theater, the pantomimes, which began also, I think, actually before independence, but really took hold after that. So when I think of Jamaica, I think very much about another organization also called, it used to be called the Jamaica Festival Commission, and they are now called the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission or Corporation, I'm not sure. And their job is to promote Jamaican culture, and they do that through an annual competition that's held
Really?
across the island. Yeah, not too many people know about that. Yeah. So you've heard of, for example, Jamaica's Festival Song. That's a competition that's held every year to create a unique and new original song that is indicative of Jamaica and who we are and
Wow.
what's happening in the country every year. So we have one of those, as well as it covers a full spectrum. I became very involved in the dance and the music and the theater, and so there would be island-wide competitions across, every parish, and then the winners of the respective parishes would compete, and eventually it would come down to gold, silver, and bronze medals in each of the various categories. And for me, it's very much about who I think we are, because, for example, again, culture in the area of dance. It's not just the modern dance, which most of us think of, and ballet and all those kinds of things, but actually it embraces what we call the traditional dances of Jamaica. So you'll hear things like kumina, okay? You will hear of quadrille. That's a very specific dance form that continues in Jamaica. And I think the reason that it continues is because of the work of the JCDC in encouraging and supporting the continued growth and knowledge of all that is who we are. And so for me, that is very much part of Jamaica and the Jamaica that I know and love,
That's amazing. And then you were embedded into it through your family.
Through my family. I didn't have a choice.
Didn't have a choice. Who still runs that today?
The original founder was a gentleman by the name of Rex Nettleford. He has since passed away, and he was actually a phenomenal person. He was a university professor. He was actually a vice chancellor at one point. When he passed away, he was vice chancellor. So he was a historian, he was an activist, and a choreographer. And he was the one who started that company, and they have since passed it on to other directors, I will call them, who continue the company. It continues to this day. Every 5 years is a big celebration, so of course we're looking forward to next year, which is the 55th. So they'll do something special, and folks like myself who remember fondly the very beginning and having my aunts be such a big part of that, we'll be there.
Of course.
For that, for sure, to be a part of that.